Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and this week I'm going to update you on one of my projects that have been on and off again, and I first introduced to you guys about 4 months ago, and it's my MPC 72 Charger Rallye project, which I started with the MPC kit, which that's the body, and pretty much all of the body components, and there's not much else left from the MPC kit. Because as you saw on my box top, I started back in 2010, but I'm actually using parts from this kit and kit bashing it. So if you've seen that video and some of the stuff, I'll recap a little bit of it, but it makes a really nice model, but it's a lot of tight fitting and a lot of fitting. But so one of the things I did change though is from another version of this, the Super B version, which is a custom and has Super B decals and kind of a Hemi engine. I'll show the box top here, so you'll be seeing that one in a little bit. But this kit, that kit comes with these exhaust trumpet tips here, which are pretty cool. I've heard them called different things, but it has these exhaust pipes in it, where the more stock version right here has the turn downs. So I'm adding these to the mix, which they just swap right on. It's really not a big deal. And but I have to remember that I think I gotta machine the valance, or clearance the valance a little bit for them. So I gotta mock that and take those down. But the valance is molded in. Got a little bit of body work. The seams are still there, but I kind of want to keep the seams there. But I started doing some body work here. And I got another layer of primer on it. In my last video you saw I was working on it right here on both sides. And then also the hood. But I did decide that I'm going to do the 3/4 vinyl top. So you can see the molding right here. I added that, glued that down, got it to exactly where I want it. Looking pretty good. So this is going to be a black vinyl top. And I was even toying the idea with cutting a hole in it and adding the sunroof, because all of the sunroof cars had vinyl tops. And I've done that on a couple of models where I basically just cut the hole in it, and I may add like a strip of styrene to give you where the sun visor or the sun thing is in and back, but it would be more towards the back. But I showed you one of them, a 60 Thunderbird that I cut a sunroof in, and I got another Pontiac that I cut a sunroof in, and you guys will see that eventually. But this one, I may just leave it without a sunroof, only because there's so many options that I'm entertaining to do with this one. Another thing that I realized, if I'm deleting AC, there's a hole there for the AC hose. I need to fill that in. That'll be a real easy job to do, but I'd have to fill that in. But as far as the body goes, just another layer of primer on the body, and it's pretty much ready. Got a couple little areas, but not much at all. And just a little bit of cleaning up, but nothing really. And I'm still really leaning towards painting this thing red with a black vinyl top, black interior, and then the black tail panel right here, which has a real fine stripe. So if you've seen one of those here, and then the tail light panel is blacked out on a 72, and then the hideaway headlights, of course. But I'm pretty happy with the way this is going. I mean, not a whole lot I've done to the body, but shot a layer of primer on this. And then of course the interior tub, I shot the interior tub with some primer. It doesn't really need hardly any cleanup. Just gotta drill out the automatic shifter, which I mentioned. It's got an automatic interior, automatic pedal, and then the dash, no AC on the dash, which works perfect for this particular combo, because if you know this kit, it comes with all the AC parts. So I got the AC hoses over here, the compressor, the choke, and then the air cleaner. The cold air choke is what that tube is to the exhaust manifold, but it's a separate part. But if it's an air grabber car, it does not have AC. The air grabber under the side of the hood hit the AC compressor. So knowing that, here's the belts. I showed you the belts before. Now this is after I deleted the compressor, folded this line down, and pulled the other one. So you can see them glued together back there and just bent together and glued together. It's not real good, but it's presentable and shows what I want. No AC. Kind of weird, this kit comes with AC and I'm actually deleting it. When most people are like, hey, why don't they add AC to some of these kits? but some of the newer kits do. This one, I'm deleting it for those particular reasons. But I'm pretty happy with how the belts came out. So that's looking pretty good. So I'll put that away in the box here. And then I don't know if I'm going to use this front spoiler, but it actually fits the MPC body really nicely. So if you can see that there. So I have that still in the cards. And speaking of the air grabber hood, I did more of the bodywork. It's a separate piece you see here. So I did more of the bodywork, got it done. I got a little bit of sanding left to do, and then this is pretty much ready. Just a little bit of sanding and it's ready for some paint. But and then here's the air grabber door. But one of the things that I needed, and I mentioned in the other video, is I need the underside of the hood stuff, because the kit doesn't have it. That air cleaner is not correct for an air grabber car. So set that aside here, put that on here. So with Hart's Parts Resin, he offers this hood. So I went and got it, ordered it. One of the delays, me deciding what I'm going to do and kind of researching but working on other models at the same time. So here's a Johan 70 Roadrunner / GTX hood. It's a resin copy of it. And he gives you this. This is the part I really wanted, the underhood part. And then he gives you the door. So kind of a neat little package, all 3 items. I got an idea, I might graft this into another Mopar project. So this hood may get grafted into something else. But it's kind of all sold together as one package deal. But I really needed this piece. And one of the reasons I wanted the Johan one is in my parts box, I actually had a Johan air cleaner and base. So you can paint that orange, paint this black, paint the air filter white, glue them together, but it seals up and it matches right up to this. So that's going to look really good. So throw that in here, and then this just can go right on the bottom side of the hood. Now where it goes, I mean, there's nothing to locate it, and once I have the motor, so I got to mock it all up, get the motor in there, and see where the air cleaner lays, and then I'll get this lined up, and if I got to lift and lower, hopefully I don't have to lift it, but figure out fitting of the air cleaner. So got this piece, so that was one of the things that I needed to find. So I did some parts scavenging and parts hunting. And speaking of parts scavenging and hunting, I mentioned I only had one of the actual 72 wheels, but this is right from MPC. But I went through my parts box, and I did have a set from Time Machine Resin. Bought these a long time ago. As you can see, they're $4 back then. But problem with these is there are bubbles in a lot of the caps. That one's real bad. That one's got one side missing. That's the only one that's complete, and this one's got one that bubble in it. So I had those. But I also remembered and checked my own private stash. I had cast up some a long time ago too, and I don't have the mold anymore. It's long gone. I probably still have the master. I got a box where I kept some of my masters, but I had these 7 wheels. So between them I got 4 usable, but some of them have a pinhole here, a pinhole there, but the caps are actually in really good shape. So I'll pirate what I need, or use them completely, or remove the trim ring and add a trim ring from another wheel. But I did find those, and these I cast a long time ago, but I had them in my stash and I actually forgot about them. Another thing that I got going on with this one is the engine. If you remember my last video, I had completely glued the engine together, and it was painted blue, and the air cleaner was painted orange. I didn't strip these. I actually just took another kit, rubbed all of the engine parts out of it, because I started to think and research and remember one of the unique things about the 72 Charger is there were 2 documented 446 pack cars that are known to exist, even though Mopar says they don't. So Fireball Model Works offers the 446 pack in 125th scale, so I got the 125th scale. He also offers them a 124 scale, and you get 2 full sets, intake, carbs, linkages. So here's the 2 outer 6-pack carbs, which are the same, the center 6-pack carb for 69, and a center 6-pack carb for 70-71, and there's a few little differences on the actual carburetor itself. So his carburetors are very detailed, if you haven't seen these. And the intake's really nice. It's almost a shame to cover the air cleaner, you know, all this up with the air cleaner. And then there's the fuel lines. But one thing I noticed right away after getting it and seeing this 1/25th scale, look how much wider the intake is from this one to this one from the kit. So I noticed if I start gluing this together, which I haven't glued any of this together, and I put the heads on, so here's the heads. See if I can do this. And here's the intake. Well, you see the intake. It's not going to work. Not without seriously doing. So I started to think and play. I pushed them. Now if I get the heads on there, you can see it pushes the heads out a little bit, and then they kind of line up, but that's going to make the intake stand up a little higher. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. I'm thinking I'll use epoxy putty, mock it all up, and build it this way. But it's kind of like the deck height. Like this is a 383 or 400, if you know your Mopar engines. And a 440 has 3/4 of an inch higher deck height. So that's kind of, you know, if you do that, that's kind of the difference between a 383 and a 440. Or for 72, it'd be technically a 400 and a 440. But the car is supposed to represent a 440 in the kit, the Charger RT with the 440, because it has the 440 emblems on it. But I'm still going to mock this up, play with it, get that together and see how I like it. But we'll see how it goes, and then if it becomes feasible, I'll continue on with this part of it. Otherwise, I'll just put the 4-barrel on it, because the air grabber, whether it's 4-barrel or 6-pack, it really doesn't affect the rest of it. Just, you know, placement on mock-up and everything. So that's where all of that is at the moment. And so it'd be kind of interesting if I actually did one of the 446-pack cars, which, like I mentioned, there are 2 known Charger RTs, and then there's a 72 Roadrunner that was actually restored, and it's in the Brothers collection if you've seen that one. But that one was debuted in 2015, fully restored, and I actually want to build one of those. So, or build something similar to that car, but not exact option for option. But that's where I'm at with this one. And one other thing is I still gotta change the steering column, because this has the shifter, and it has the turn signal lever on it. Oh, I knew I was gonna drop that, but here it is. It's got the turn signal lever, but it's also got the Prendle lens on top. So I gotta remove the Prendle lens, but keep the turn signal, and remove this because of the console and floor shifter that the model kit has. But it's kind of funny that the MPC interior is automatic, no AC, and most of the time it's the other way around, where a lot of them have AC vents and it's automatic, but the MPC kit comes with a manual tranny and no AC. And this one's quite the opposite of a kit bash. So this one's back on the bench and actually moving, and one of the last things I got to do is, this is the condenser, I got to remove that. So I may just sand that flat and put screen mesh on it to remove the AC. Although you can barely see that, but I know it's there. So I just got to put that into this insert. But that's where this one is. So follow along and see what happens with it. So thank you for tuning in and watching, subscribing, sharing, and all of your comments. I really appreciate it. So you guys stick around and see where this goes. And you guys, you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next Saturday.